magic, fairies, princesses, the moon, gorgeous floaty fabrics that melt off your body. That ethereal vibe. That is what I'm craving. I love, love, love fantasy. I love medieval. I love fantasy medieval. And I am hungry for a fun and creative project. So here's what we're gonna do today. I've got this beautiful sparkly blue mesh fabric, which I got secondhand from Vinted, and also some dark blue chiffon fabric, which I also got secondhand from Vinted. And today we're gonna make something. Think like pre-Raphaelite portrait, which if you know me, you know how much I love them. That is my vision for today. A friend of mine said the dresses that I make are often really ethereal, and I really got hung up on that word, ethereal, because it makes me think of magic, flowing dresses, the moon and the stars, and cool tones. So I decided I wanted to make a dress with that word in mind. So I got sketching, I've got a vision in my head, and we're just gonna go for it. So without further ado, let's go. If you like this video, feel free to like. If you want to see more, stick around and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments that I should make next and what you think of this dress, and let's go. Okay, so the first thing I did was lay the fabric on the floor. I thought I would start with the skirt, as in theory this should be easier. I also thought I'd cut the blue chiffon first, since it's an easier fabric to work with. You know you've got a tricky fabric if chiffon is the easy one. Okay, so I know I wanted a train, so I folded the fabric in half and started sketching essentially half a circle skirt, except I made one curve the length of my underbust to the floor measurement, and the other much, much longer to accommodate for a train. So instead of a circle shape, it was more of an oval. I also then cut out a trapezium shape, which would make the front panel in the same fabric. I then attached these pieces together using French seams. Anyone who knows me knows I love, love, love French seams, and for a lightweight and sheer fabric like organza or chiffon, they're perfect. I then hemmed the bottom of this massive skirt piece with a rolled hem. This was quite a fiddly process, but it prevents the fabric from fraying, which is very important. It's then also important to iron this hem flat so it sits nicely and doesn't roll up, which it tends to naturally want to do. I then cut out another oval skirt piece, but this time out of the sparkly fabric. Because of the structure of the fabric, it doesn't fray, which is just the most amazing thing ever. So this was much quicker since I didn't need to hem anything. This was also only one panel, as I wanted to leave the front open so you could see the dark blue beneath. I attached these skirts together by sewing the top in with a straight stitch. Okay, let's talk sleeves. So forgive the audio quality. I have left my microphone at university, my bad. But let's talk sleeves. So my hamasha is that I want too many things. I'm a materialistic girl, you know, leave me alone. No, I was just thinking, I can't decide what kind of sleeves I want. Like I genuinely, there's too many options. I love a little puff sleeve. I love the long flowing sort of waterfall sleeves that you get with sort of pre-Raphaelite dresses, fancy medieval style dresses. Love, 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 love. But also I want a dress to be versatile. If the pieces that I make, I want them to be able to be used in multiple different contexts. Obviously at the end of the day, yes, they're a costume, but I want the costume to be applicable in different spaces, if that makes sense. So I often will sew sort of multiple pieces as opposed to just like one dress sewn all together, because then you can use it in different ways. So what I was thinking for sleeves is, why choose? Obviously I know I want that big dramatic sleeve. I definitely want that for at least like one vision of the design that I'm playing with. I want puff sleeves. Why don't I make them detachable? So what I think I'm gonna do is, for the big long like waterfall sleeves, have elastic so they sit just comfortably on my arm, should be fine, and then I can take them off when I want. And then I thought, oh, that's cool, and I could just sew the puff sleeves on. And then I thought, actually, I don't even have to sew the puff sleeves on. I think, well, there's loads of ways you could do it. You could do lace up, you could do like poppers, which I've done before. But I'm actually thinking that I think the weight of the dress itself would hold it in place. So I don't actually even think that you have to do that. I think you could just like tuck it under. So I might try that. And just see. We're experimenting, having fun, see how that goes. But then you have the dress already in 3 different ways. On its own, like with no sleeves, and you can add whichever sleeves underneath that you want. With the puff sleeves, with the puff sleeves and the waterfall sleeves. Like already that's so many more options, and then you take it from like one vibe to another. Love it. Anyway, so I think that's what we're gonna do. Let's find out. Let's see if it works. Okay, now onto the sleeves. Let's start with the waterfall sleeves. I used a sleeve I'd made before as the pattern and cut round this piece. I mean, count how many times I'm going to say sleeve in the next 30 seconds. I cut it on the fold to make this process much quicker. I repeated this for both the dark blue chiffon and sparkly blue fabric. I then hemmed the dark blue chiffon fabric and again ironed them flat. Of course, I didn't have to do this for the sparkly fabric because it doesn't fray. I placed the sleeves together and folded over the top piece, sewing a small tube. I fed elastic through the tube and secured with some small stitches so I could easily take the sleeve on and off and it would sit comfortably on my upper arm. I then tackled the puff sleeve. Cutting pieces and layering them on top of each other, I gathered both the top and bottom sleeve piece. I gathered the bottom part of the sleeve piece into a sleeve band, snug on my arm. I don't know if that made any sense, but it made sense to me. I didn't film much of this, so you've got to take my word for it, but it was just a basic puff sleeve. This is what the sleeves look like worn together. I am totally obsessed with how these look, and I actually just think it's gorgeous, especially when they're worn together, but I also do love that you can wear them separately as well. Onto the bodice, I drafted up a quick pattern and used these pieces as a template. I sketched around the pieces in chalk so I'd know where to pin the pieces together. This is something I just find way easier. You can also do this in pencil. This is all the pieces cut out and ready to be pinned. I then stitched all the pieces together using my machine before I put the bodice onto the mannequin. I then started draping scraps of the sparkly blue fabric on top of the bodice on my mannequin. I didn't really have a plan, I was sort of just doing whatever felt right, playing around, having fun, but I really liked the look of lots of pleats. Initially I wasn't going to have this bit hanging down the front either, but again, I just really liked how it looked, so decided to keep it in there. Once I was happy with all the draping, I started hand sewing the draping in place. This was quite tedious and I had to be very careful not to sew the bodice to the mannequin, but I was really happy with how this was looking. I will say my arms did start to ache after a while though. I then had to add the waistband, so this is what the bodice looks like off of the mannequin. I sewed the waistband to the bodice, then attached the skirt onto the waistband. Again, we're all just using very basic straight stitches. This is what the dress looks like without the sleeves, but I'm really happy with how this looks. What's cool about this is that I can obviously layer the different sleeves, which makes it way more fun. I then hand stitched the clasps onto the waistband so the dress would sit comfortably on my body. So here we are a few days later with a wonderful, whimsical dress. This was actually a super quick project. It's really fun. I really enjoyed just having a creative outlet. I wanted to do something fun, something creative, not bound by any rules or structure, just a bit of fun. Especially after all my uni work this term, which has been a lot more intense. They ramped up the intensity. So fun, so good, a great challenge. I just wanted to reject that rigidity, there we go, and structure that came with my project this term, and instead, like I said, something really flowing and fluid, and I think we hit the nail on the head. I really love the versatility aspect of the design, with the sleeves being so changeable. That's something I really love incorporating into loads of my projects. I think it makes it more fun and just more practical and useful. It means you can switch these costumes up to have sort of a different vibe. Like, obviously with the full sleeves you have a fully magically whimsical sort of princess, but like kind of Lord of the Rings vibes as well. Lots of people said it reminded them of Arwen, but then if you take the really long waterfall sleeves off and you just have the puff sleeve, it's a bit more fun and princessy. Anyway, it's just loads of different vibes rolled into one, which I love. I'm also really happy with the drape and the pleating on the bodice. Super fun. But yeah, overall I'm super happy. Let me know what you think. Do you like the dress? If you don't, please don't be too harsh because I like it. Let me know what you think I should make next, and I'll maybe see you next time. Keep sewing.